Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes! This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in!
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Boken Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Toku Secrets podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And today we are going into episode 9, also the final episode of our coverage of the most recent Super Sentai series. And as of the recording of this, the last series before the show has now entered a period of hiatus. Number One Sentai Gozyuger. We got the whole crew on. We got Riz, Patrick, Anthony, everybody on here to take a look at the in-game arc. And just a forewarning, everybody, this podcast is probably going to be a little bit of a longer one because we're covering an in-game arc. We're taking a look at a Sentai that's kind of that's supposed to bring like finality to the franchise. And it's also a Sentai that I know everyone on here has very strong feelings towards, although not in the way that you would hope that a Sentai would have strong feelings towards. I know Riz and Patrick, I know everybody on here has a lot of things to say about that. But yeah,
I'm ready to light this thing up, guys. What about y'all?
Yeah. I'm absolutely. I've been ready to light this up since the day that the last episode aired.
I know. I'm trying to kick Patrick and Anthony to say hello or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, I was still muted. Like I've already said my piece. The things that upset me about what I said, I've already said already. And there are a couple episodes here that I'm probably gonna be like upset about too. But you know what? That finale just kind of it bored me. I wasn't even upset. I was just kind of just like, that's it. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was more disappointed than angry in that one.
Well, let's get to it first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, it's about time. I can finally let out my vengeance on this damn season and never look at it again.
well, come on, Riz. You're able to let out your vengeance, so there's some positive thing about this Sentai. Well,
No.
this podcast.
Well,
at least.
No, the only thing positive about this entire podcast is that we're done.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can all agree on that. Anyway, to recap what happened in the last batch of episodes, we basically covered everything leading up to the in-game arc, which was also kind of when there was a lot of behind-the-scenes tumult going on. We had another encounter with a ring bearer who had the Deca Ranger ring. He was a friend of Kiwan and Hoeru's, and then Hoeru learned that Kiwan had joined Tegajun willingly, even though everybody thought that he had been brainwashed originally. And he also got the Deca Ranger. There was this monster called Ribbon who Tegajun created as Boket's sister. And that monster got destroyed by Boket. And no, didn't get destroyed by Boket. It got destroyed by Rikuo during the struggle, and that's when Boket discovered Rikuo's identity, and she tried to get revenge on him, but then Rikuo tamed her by voicing sympathy over her feeling lonely, and that caused Boket to turn away from the Baraiden, the villains. There was a handful of episodes where Sumino was absent from behind the scenes. This was because her actress had been fired off the show, and And the explanation was that she was sent on a secret mission by Tegasword off screen, and she had her appearance and voice changed, and she just decided to stay in there. Kyuan turned on Teikaju, merged with her. He wanted to kill Haweru, but because he always resented him for how he kept trying no matter how much he failed. He got defeated, he was killed, and then he was revived as as a weapon, reviving to, vowing to do good deeds. And the Gozyugers, they had an encounter with Origa Red. He's a Red Ranger from the original Sentai Origa Ranger from another world. He got the King Oger ring from Tsutsumi. Sasuke, Ninja Red, also showed up, and he was also using the Taku Ranger ring, and there was some big confrontations, and the Gozyugers got the King Oger and the Kaku Ranger ring, so all the Sentai rings have been obtained. And also, Queen Teikajun, she began to atone for her sins because Goodburn was able to tame her. So basically, everyone except Fire Candle has basically turned good. So as we approach here is the final ring count. Hoeru has Don Brothers, Jetman, Time Ranger, Bokenger, Shinkenger, Go-Go 5, Go Busters, Flashman, Lupin Ranger, Pat Ranger, Go Ranger, Battle Fever, Go Ranger, Auto Ranger, Kung Ranger, Jonka, Digimon, Go Sager, Live Man, Turbo Ranger, Goggle 5, 5-Man, Me Ninja, Dynaman, Changeman, Mask Man, Deca Ranger, and King Ojo. Thankfully, everybody else doesn't have nearly as Riku just has some Vulcan, Gao Ranger, Maji, and Juo. Ryugi just has Kaku Ranger. Kinjiro has Kyoryuger, Kira Major, Bioman, and Dai Ranger. Sabino, Ryu Soldier, Gingaman, Go Ranger, Mega Ranger, Q Ranger, and Zinc Ranger. And finally, Mashiro has Geki Ranger, Go Kaiger, Zhu Ranger, Hurricaneger, Boom Boomger, and Tokyuger. Right, so that brings us to the first episode of our in-game arc, where
that was so painful to listen to, Nate.
At this point, Nate, I should just have you do it over again. Hireru, and then you list off every team, because he's going to have all of them by
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true, actually.
Final ring count at the end of show, and then we're going to make you list off every season again.
Basically... No, in that case, I could just say Go Ranger to Boom Boomger, and then I'm done.
Yeah. No, you got to list them all by hand.
God
man.
dang it.
I'm not,
in random order.
You did this to yourself.
Okay. Anyway, we got episode 46, Endless Youth. This is the true path of a party person. So when this episode begins, because they have all the rings, the Gozyugers... they have to prepare to fight each other, so they make this decision where they're going to split it up, where it's going to be Hoeru and Mashiro fight, Rikuo and Ryugi fight, and then Sumino and Kinjiro fight. Kinjiro is hesitant to fight because he doesn't want to interfere with Sumino's wish, because he doesn't know the true meaning of his own wish. So basically, this is a Kinjiro episode, unfortunately. Kinjiro briefly encounters his grandson, and he encourages him to follow his dreams. And that's when he realizes what being a true partier really means, and he accepts Sumino's challenge. He gives it his all, but he's defeated. He tells Sumino to make her wish come true. And he explains that being a true partier is to live your life the way you want, and he wants to make people smile. That's why he wants to give Sumino the opportunity to fulfill her wish. So, yeah. Kinjiro is out. All of his rings are now Sumino's, including the Goju Eagle ring, I should add. So he's no longer a ranger now for this, at least up until the last episode. Fire Candle, he confronts Teikajun, Boket, and Mr. and Mrs. Knifecake. He vows to continue to fight. Teikajun warns him that his power is killing his body. Normally, this is when he would point out some of the clear changes that were made in the post-Maya in memory, but honestly, up until the final episode, I didn't really see anything worth noting. So, yeah, no need to talk about that. Let's talk about episode 46 now. What do we think about this one?
Okay, so...
Go ahead, Pat. You can have first go.
This episode and the next episode, I'm going to give I'm going to give a prop to, but that prop also counts as a negative. The prop is they finally gave Kenjiro and just jumping ahead, Ryoku, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Blue.
Ryugi?
Thank you. They finally gave them like a basis for what it is that they wanted to do, because their stuff has been very like vague. Oh, I want to be a party guy and stuff like that. I was like, what does that mean? What was your real drive for doing this? Are you suffering from midlife crisis? And I'm like, okay, cool. We finally got it. How many episodes are left until the end? Well, crap. Why did you wait so long for this?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You know how when we were doing Sinkinzer, I kept calling a character hot garbage because he was garbage as a red lead and he was not doing a great job as being a lead.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, it was like, oh, he's actually a pretty good red. Actually, a pretty damn good red. Mm-hmm. But that didn't happen here. There was no like, this happened too late to have a payoff. And it also doesn't matter because by this point, nobody cared. And also, nobody cared. You cared?
No, I said I didn't. I didn't.
Okay, good, because nobody should care about this. And like the thing is with Kinzer, my honest opinion is, who cares? Like, you were trying to fulfill a wish for your wife. Okay, cool, but your wish was to be a true partier and live life your way. You don't need this power or this wish to make that happen. This is not like I need to go save my sister from this coma type thing, or it's not like, insert valid reason here for why you need the ring. Like, I need this to stop the war and bring balance to the forest or something. This wasn't that. It was literally, I want to learn how to party and how to let loose. You don't need powers to do that. You don't need anything to do that. Just literally do it. You don't need like to go on this whole journey to gain a power. Yeah, you can go on the journey and learn this along the way, and that's fine. But the fact that we tied this back to a power is abysmal. And honestly, I don't know about y'all, but this is the episode where I was like, okay, I've never liked this guy. Never once. I've always hated this character from the get-go. He's always been the worst of the 5 main Rangers from the get-go. And even then, I was like, okay, he's probably one of the worst people to ever exist among the Rangers.
Yeah.
And then here I'm like, you finally did it, dude. You finally hit rock bottom. You're finally tethering on being almost as stupid as another red from another season that I hate with a passion. You almost got there. And that's a freaking talent to get that far down in the barrel.
Yeah, this episode definitely cemented Kinjiro for me on that, but not really quite for the reasons that Riz brought up. Like, my big problem is that, like, on one hand, to kind of go with what Patrick was saying, like, we finally get him questioning the true meaning behind his wish. And this would have been something great that they could have done, like maybe in the middle of the series to like give him a little bit more, emotion behind his decisions. And then there's also, they're trying to give him like this weird relationship with Mr. and Mrs. Knifecake, which is like, where was all of this? Like, they never had a rivalry or anything. But then when I was thinking about that, it's also, why didn't they have a rivalry? I mean, they're a married couple. Maybe Kinjiro, he was married in the past, so maybe, seeing them just kind of reminds him of the grief that he's holding for having lost his wife. Like, okay, maybe that rivalry wouldn't have worked on the level of like Marvelous Moscow or Takeru and Juzo, but it would have been fine. Like maybe on the level of like Ian and Igaron and Kyoryuger, but like, so it's very much like that episode of Ginga Man where, Hayate has his fight with Shalinda, and because she's taunting him over having lost his fiance, and you're thinking, yeah, that is right. He had a lost fiance. Jesus, it's almost like you forgot about the plot point up until the end game arc. Like same thing here. It's like there's so much you could have explored here, even from a comic relief standpoint, and you just wasted it. And the sad thing is, if you look at this episode for what it is, it's not bad stuff, but you didn't earn it, Gozyuger, and because of that, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Too little, too late.
And congratulations, you created the worst Green Sentai Ranger ever. Like this is what
he's literally so bad. Like, okay, the entire time watching this season, and I know we're gonna talk about this again later, but he had such a great potential in episode 1 or 2, whenever he debuted, to be something meaningful. Like, he could have been this old guy who got a chance of youth again, and he could have been trying to correct the mistakes of his past, or to, do something, like pass on some wisdom, or have a different role. But no, he's literally just here to party. And every time he opens his mouth, it's like, party people. I'm like, dude, Sati, you know what up.
Yeah, he's
kind of dragging myself
for that. Yeah.
The more I think about him, the more I'm like, he is the epitome of wasted potential.
Yeah.
Like, the reason you guys might be wondering why I said he's tethering on being Don. You know why he's not Don? Because he had a moment in the beginning where he could have been redeemed. He could have been something better, but Don never had that.
Yeah. And that's kind of my big issue here, is the potential with this character, because an old man who wished to be made young again, because in theory hasn't gotten over the fact that his wife is gone. Like, in the very foundation of this character, you have probably the most unique Sentai Ranger we've ever gotten in terms of base of his character. And man, if you will put this character in the hands of a better Sentai writer, this character could have been, this character would have been emotional. Like, could you imagine the potential, like, tears this character could have brought the fans of this show if he was written correctly? He thinks that making himself younger, being a party person, is what he wants, but deep down, it's that he's just trying to cope with the fact that his wife's gone, and like his whole journey up to this point is trying to figure that out, and he can't accept it.
But that's not. And that's a great storyline. And if it was not if they did not tangle that journey with the rings for the wish, I might have genuinely given him a bit of a pass here. I've been like, okay, now we get why you're doing this. It's a little bit late, but I would respect it. But tying it to the ring is where I'm like, no, this is stupid. You should have had a more interesting wish than party people, number one party people. I'm like, dude, stop, don't do it.
I mean, I don't. How do I want to word this?
You want to word it as if he's the worst thing in the world?
I want to say that I could maybe excuse him wanting to use the power to make himself younger, because in his emotional state, he doesn't know exactly what he wants. Like, maybe he wants peace of mind. He wants to find a way to bring her back from the dead or something. But at the moment, he's like, well, if I make myself young to start over again, I can maybe find someone else to be with, and have him like in like this moment of peril or something. And the whole season is just him trying to realize or just trying to come to peace with it or something. Like, there's ways you can make this work. Yeah, there's 100% ways you can make this work. But the fact that they basically made him to be the pseudo joke character is just inexcusably stupid.
It's insulting. It's insulting to us. And on top of it, it's also insulting. I'm getting into my final thoughts here, I think, but I'm going to not get into all of them. But I will cap it. I will cap it to this and say, this character is part of why I feel insulted by the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can go into more detail when we do the tier rankings. But
before we continue,
tier rank is easy. I can give it to you right now if you want.
Now let's wait till the end on that, Riz.
Oh, before we continue, I need to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Piggybacking off to what Patrick said earlier. Could you, as I'm already caught up mostly with Zets right now, could you imagine the writers for Zets doing this season? Oh my freaking god, it would have been amazing.
Well, like even take Kobayashi. Like look at how emotional the character arcs in Shinkenger were.
Yep.
Like, could you imagine if we got that in this season? Jesus Christ.
Even Arakawa, I mean, I think
yeah.
I mean, I think Arakawa is kind of a little overrated, but he would have handled this fine. It probably would have been a contender for an S tier if Kobayashi touched it, but if Arakawa did it, I could see it being a B tier at worst case scenario. But yeah, I'm gonna be a little nice to this one, and when I say nice, I'm still gonna give it a grade that's a very big F. But I'm gonna give it a 4, just kind of because, like I said, what they're doing with this episode in and of itself is perfectly fine, but the reason why it loses 6 points is because too little, too late, and I'm still not going to be super nice to it.
Yeah, if anything, its positive is why it sucks.
Yeah,
I know that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I think a 4 is perfectly reasonable for this.
Yep.
You're giving it a 4 out of 10 for this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, y'all being nice. I'm going with a 1.
I'm saving my 1 for later. Okay.
I'm going straight 1. I have no more.
Fair. Yeah. Anthony, what do you want to say?
I think I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Cool. All right, episode 47. Go fight Rikuo when the 100 nights end. So yeah, Ryugi is attempting to challenge Rikuo by performing a concert. Rikuo is afraid of losing his fans. This causes a fight to break out because Ryugi gets all angry. But Boket encourages Rikuo and he regains his fighting spirit. Boket says that, well, she may have quit on him. She's back into him and says that being an idol was all about shining again, even if you fade out. Then Rikuo and Ryugi prepare to fight, but we do not see how that fight goes down. The episode ends abruptly, and then it flashes forward. Rikuo is performing a concert for his fans as an idol, performing Never Ending Shine. It's revealed that he lost to Ryugi, but Ryugi claims he no longer needs his ring as he'll rise up as an idol on his own. The episode ends. Rikuo finishes his concert. He's the number 1 idol now. Fire Candle senses someone, and Mashiro encounters another calamity monster called Rex. And because Kinjiro doesn't appear as Jiro Eagle because he lost his powers in the previous episode. That is Rikuo's big finale, which was not a very good finale, but I'll let everybody else say what they say before I light this one up, because I hate this episode.
Yeah. It, again, cool that we finally got that he's basically suffering from like fear of failure. Understandable. Definitely something they could do something with. And establishing that him and Ryugi have had like a history, and they're kind of like the begrudging, like respectful partners and whatnot. Would have been nice if we got some of this earlier in the show.
Exactly.
It's almost the same beats from the last episode. It's like this would have been better like 30 episodes ago.
But I would say that this is worse because, as bad as the previous episode was, it at least tried to give Kinjiro a deeper ending. It failed, but at least it tried. This whole episode is just Rikuo feeling insecure about himself and people needing to reassure him of how awesome he supposedly is.
He isn't.
Which, if you really think about it, just kind of goes off of what I said in the previous podcast of how there's like some real like narcissistic and arrogant undertones coming from this type of plot. Like this is not deep. Like the previous episode tried to be deep and it failed, but at least tried. This episode doesn't even try. It's going off the same old. Rikuo's just worried that people are not going to like him. And half the time I'm watching this episode, it's like, dude, get over yourself. Like, you are so full of yourself. This, God, if you look at yourself in the mirror every day and try to admire how fabulous you are and how if one person doesn't even like you, that's just going to ruin your whole world. Like, you're making narcissists from either, I don't know if it's Greek or Roman mythology where narcissist comes from, but you're making that guy who was so full of himself that they literally created a term after him about self-loving. You're making him look better by comparison. This is how bad you are. And spoiler alert, this is why I call Rikuo the worst Sentai Blue Ranger. Because because ironically enough, when you really dig deep into it, yeah, Rikuo is kind of a narcissist.
I hate that they also try to paint him as like endearing because he just wants to I want to make everybody in the world happy at the same time. And I'm like, cool ambitions, but man, you're getting really overly dramatic about the potential of that not happening.
Exactly.
Like it's, I don't know. His entire character throughout this whole show has been a bit bizarre, just to say the least. And this is what they end with him on. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to add anything, Riz? I know, but you haven't hated Rikuo as much as some of these other characters, but I know you don't like him.
I don't like Rikuo, but I also don't care about Rikuo enough to be like, okay, you're stupid. You don't deserve to be in this episode. Like, I think to me, Rikuo had a decent attempt at trying to be a character that was worth something, but I think they botched him more so because of how they wrote the story of the entire season. Like, they didn't give him any focus to really dig him out and make him something. So I don't hate him in the same way I hate Kinzuro. Kinzuro is just terrible at writing. But Rikuo was just...
He's just there.
He's unfortunate writing, right? Like, he wasn't developed in the way that he could have been. Like, he had all the right pieces to make him interesting. And honestly, the idol goal he had for the Whis, I would buy that as a Whis that he could use to, like, do something with. Like, I'm okay with that Whis. But I do think that I don't know, Nate, we're kind of saying you called it self-esteem, right? He was facing?
Yeah, self-confidence.
Yeah. Like, his self-confidence, I mean, that part of, like, okay, that's the same thing as Kinzuro. Like, you can do that without getting the rings.
That's what I'm saying.
But he still was at the point of he could have had the Wisp be more structured out and like, I want to be the best idol in the world. Like, that's a viable Wisp that I'd be like, okay, you want to go from being in your garage singing to being like Taylor Swift. I get it.
Yeah.
That's a valid Wisp. I could see that if that's your goal in life. I accept that. But I will say, this is not going to get a 1 for me. I'll give this a 4 because Sumino won.
Well, Sumino won in the previous episode. Ryugi won here.
Okay, never mind. I take that back. I was misreading your notes.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. I don't cover the season anymore. I'll remember who beat who.
Exactly. If the show didn't suck so badly, then he probably would have remembered that.
So if he lost, who did he lose? Who did he lose to? Ryugi, the yellow guy.
Yeah, he lost to Ryugi. Sumino beat Kinjiro.
Okay. Sumino might have given that episode from last one a 2 out of 10 instead of a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
But this will go back to being like a 2 because I don't hate it as much as I hate the other one.
That's fair.
Like,
it's bad, I'm giving this a 2 though.
It's bad, but it's not like a 1 bad.
Yeah, it's kind of just meh to me.
Yeah, I don't think Rikuo was as egregious as Kinjiro, which is why I don't hate it as much. But because I could see Rikuo if you just tweaked him just a little bit being a perfectly fine character. But yeah, it still didn't like this episode. This is a 2.
I have an interesting 2. You two, you also. Yeah, I'm gonna say a 2. I'm gonna say a 2 also. I wanted to kind of bounce off of a thing that Riz was just talking about maybe like how he said something about what if Rikuo started off as like a garage singer and wanted to become like an actual K-pop idol or whatever. I was thinking, what if one of the things they could have done with the show was that everybody's wishes started off selfish, like as they are now, but then they slowly changed them to something a little bit more selfish. Like he wanted to be the most beloved idol in the world, but as the show went along, he ended up turning it into I want world peace.
Yeah.
You know, they turn what they wanted around and make them more like selfish sounding.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that would be an interesting way to take the character dynamics in this show. Like,
would have been great character development too.
Yeah, it would have been a way because you could have had the 5 of them start off as real, well, not Hareru, but the other 4 of them starting off as being very selfish, and that would kind of like be the way to show how kind of dickish they all were. And then they like slowly want to change it to be more broad and help people in a more positive way. And I was just sitting on this idea, I was like, that would have been a cool direction to take this show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man, we're doing literally what we did with Zoo Ranger. We're just rewriting it as we talk about it.
Hey Nate, you're gonna rewrite this entire season for us one day?
Yeah, I absolutely could. I think I can.
I mean, there's enough good ideas here to rewrite this with with ease. It's just someone has to put in the dang effort.
And I'm glad Patrick was the first to say that, but I'm gonna go off of that a little bit later in the podcast when we get to overall thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, episode 48, the penultimate episode, resolve the evil of the world in the lens of calamity.
I'm just gonna say this right now. This might be the episode of the show I hate the most.
Oh, dude. Oh, who you telling?
No, Patrick. I will save that for the last one because there's something there that really angered me.
No, but I'm just saying from my perspective, this is the worst episode of the season, and I'm going to tell you guys why when we're done here.
Yeah. Okay, so to give these details, Rex confronts Mashiro. He tells him about how humanity has only prospered thanks to him and Tegazord, and because they've been on the path toward extinction for many years. He tells Mashiro he has to become a god himself and enforce the laws of nature properly by destroying the world, so he can have it as his own playground, but Mashiro doesn't want to do it. Rex unleashes tornadoes, which ravage the city. Fire Candle arrives. He's pulling out some powers from Rex's body and taking on this powerful monster form. Ryugi, Kinjiro, Sumino, and Rikuo get killed by Rex. They all get turned into ash. Sorry, Gozyuger, you are not Go-Onger, so you are not succeeding there, just to give you guys let you know. With all hope lost, Mashiro gives in. He takes on a god form. He tells whoever he can handle things from here. He charges at Rex, punches him into the ground, all the way to the core. They killing them both. The episode ends. All of the Sentai rings fall in front of Haweru. Haweru has won the ring battle. That brings us to the last episode, but let's talk about the penultimate episode first. What do we think
Patrick,
about this one?
You can start off this time.
Oh,
yeah.
He's actually letting me have this. He's letting me have this moment. Okay. So
no, because there's a moment I'll steal it from you later.
Okay. there's this whole show, they've been kind of building up to the idea of eventually these 5 or 6 are going to have to fight each other, you know? And it's kind of been a thing looming over the season the whole time. And genuinely, I was kind of excited to see how they were going to go about handling the infighting at the very end. So we get 2 episodes that were good, but in the wrong place of the season. And I was like, okay, maybe this season finale arc can kind of be decent. And just like everything else with this season, let's pivot to something else. Like, oh, here's an enemy that has never been mentioned or talked about or established in any conceivable way, showing out of nowhere and derailing the entire story arc for no reason.
Yep.
On top of the fact that they had to give, to me, the worst character in this season, who is Mashiro.
Yep.
I hate this character. I've made it clear many times that I hate this character because they gave him a god complex. And that usually is okay because most characters that have a god complex are villains, not this guy. So what did they do? They reinforced his god complex by actually making him a god by doing something that, and you could correct me if I'm wrong here, he could have done at any time. But he chose now to do it.
Yeah.
What? Why did you derail? And then the stupid thing about the battle for the rings amongst the Gozyugers is that this was the big thing that they had teased all season long, and then this is it. We never revisit it. It never gets touched on again. We got 2 episodes worth of it, and then they just didn't do anything with it anymore. And so good job pulling the carpet out from underneath everybody.
I would have actually liked to have seen those 2 fight, just FYI.
Yeah, but no, screw you. Here's random god guys.
But the thing is, like, I've been saying this from the beginning. The writer of this season picked every wrong thing to touch on. They picked the wrong focus when it came to characterization. They picked characterizing random one-off characters way more than the main cast and made them more likable than the main cast. Then they focused on stupid battles like number 1 plumber, number 1 person who can burp the loudest, number 1 person who can burp their ABCDs or something. Like, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing for the number 1 battles. They could have made it a lot more interesting and been like, okay, these guys are not friends. And they should have made that the thing from the get-go. And we'll touch on this again in the next episode, the finale, because it really pissed me off what they did there. They could have focused on making these guys rivals, like had them fight. Like at the mid-season finale point, they could have had like a thing where they had to fight and the rings got redistributed out. And it didn't really happen. Like, we never had them lose rings except for when Yellow lost his rings when he quit.
Yeah.
But other than that, nobody ever like had rings go between the 5 of them. Okay, once Hura got a ring, he kept that ring. Sumino didn't try to steal it. Ryugi didn't try to take it. Kinzero didn't try to get him drunk at a party and be like, hey, let me just borrow that ring from you real quick. Like, none of that happened.
Like, they weren't sneaky. Like this would have been a perfect season to do like sabotage or like, oh, like let me like you said, Riz, just snatch your ring up, because they didn't establish the rule of if you just beat them, you get the ring. You can, I'm sure you can probably just take it from them, and they unless you can physically fight them for it, like what can they do? Like,
I would have liked to see the Baraiden also occasionally steal some rings, kind of like how in I don't want to spoil too much for Patrick and Riz when we eventually review this series, but in Kamen Rider O's, there's frequent episodes where the villains beat the main writer and steal some of his core medals. Like, there could be episodes where he gains some new core medals, but he loses some in the process. Anthony knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like,
indeed,
yeah, you could have taken that route as well.
No, literally, we had this happen in Go Kaiser.
Yeah,
Well, no, they didn't lose Ranger keys regularly between Bosco, but at the same
But
time,
they
Bosco
did.
got some grand powers.
Right. So they had the grand power struggle throughout, like between them and Bosco. As soon as Bosco came along, it was like, oh, we have a couple of grand powers that Bosco has. We got to earn the right to get them. Like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was handled way better in Go Kaiser. Everything was handled better in Go Kaiser. This is not even Timu Go Kaiser anymore. This is like I don't know, dollar barn bin on the side of the 45 in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's mixed in with like a DVD rack of like old Japanese movies from the 60s that nobody cared about.
I got to give you credit though, Riz. It took you like a little over 40 minutes to finally mention Gokaiger, so kudos to you on that.
For not mentioning it earlier?
Yeah. No. For not bringing out the Gokaiger comparisons.
Well, I've been trying not to because I don't want to
free will.
Well, because I don't want to muddy the good name of Go Kaiser by bringing this garbage on the same plate.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was always under the assumption though that they kind of agreed to stay taking each other's rings until they collected all of them. They just did a really poor job of explaining it. They tried to pass it off as, well, actually, we can work cohesively as a team. And I'm like, no, you can't.
You can't.
If they had just established that we're going to have a pact that we're not going to fight each other until every other ring is collected, so we can gather all the rings in one fight, at the end, and it just kind of like tolerate each other, that would have been a much better way of going about it. But
you could have done that where you had the mid-season climax be that one of them, preferably Sumino, given how sympathetic her motivation is, one of them goes rogue and starts fighting against everybody, and that causes a lot of things to go down, and then they're able to resolve everything, and the episode kind of ends with them vowing like, let's work together to stop the Baraiden, and we'll worry about fighting each other once everybody has the rings.
And that point you just said at the end is another reason why I hate this episode. Why didn't they settle things with them before this? We had this stupid calamity interrupt the battle for the rings, and it really made the team come off as even more stupid, where it's like, oh, well, two of them aren't Gozyugers anymore. So not only that, we're fighting a thing, and we're fighting them handicapped, and we're not going to think of giving them their rings back temporarily just for this one situation that's bigger than their ring battle.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It makes no effing sense.
That's what I'm saying. The finale arc should have been exclusively the ring battle. Their fight with the calamities and Fire Candle and everything should have been what happened before the finale arc.
Yeah. Why didn't they deal with that first?
They didn't structure this out. They're like, okay, so basically what happened, they got to the end of the season, they're like, oh, wait, we got to resolve all this stuff now. We spent too much time having number one battles for plumbers and burping your letters out correctly.
And then you could still have a big final battle, but like, instead of them fighting each other, like maybe once someone wins, you haven't revealed, because this was something that we were talking about being a possibility when some of us were still foolish enough to think that this series could be clever. We were thinking that Tegasword was going to turn out to be the main villain. You could have done it.
Yeah.
Where they have to fight Tegasword as the final villain.
Yeah, the winner of the ring battle has to fight Tegasword or something like that. Like,
yeah. And then have it all turn out to just be some, well, actually, no, I do have an idea that I'm going to bring up here, but like, I should probably wait until we get to the last episode to bring that up. But yeah, and I don't have much to say about this one. I think Riz and Pat, I think everybody else has kind of did it. Because for me, like, I probably don't hate this episode as much as Patrick, but I don't like it because it's just another one of those episodes where it's like, okay, yeah, there's some cool things happening here. Too bad I don't care about the characters, and the whole thing with Mashiro doesn't hit me at all because he's always thought he was a god. Now he is a god. Whoop-de-doo. So, yeah, what do you guys want to give this out of 10?
0.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
I'm
giving this a 1 because I gotta give the next one a 0.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 1 because I was frustrated with it, but I'm only giving it a 1 only because of how stupid whoever getting the rings at the end was. I'm just like he got them for doing absolutely nothing. And I'm just like
Yeah.
That's genuinely that shot of him laying in the valley and all the rings just conveniently laying right in front of him was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so forced.
But anyway, let's get to the final episode, which we are Number One Sentai Gozyuger, the very last episode of the franchise. Now that it's entered its hiatus period, kind of a big episode for this, and unfortunately, it does not live up to what the expectations you would hope for. Fire Candle arrives. He wants to settle a score with Haweru. His drive is to have a life or death battle with him. Haweru gets cornered, and that's when Kiwan arrives. He's revived into his human form and then he holds up Fire Candle. Haweru confronts Sword on his wish, and his wish is to redo the ring battle. That brings all of the Gozyugers back. They join Haweru in fighting Fire Candle and his minions. We see other ring bearers arrive. The previous ones that got a lot that had like 2-part episodes dedicated to them. Bocat, Mr. and Mrs. Knifecake fight as well. They defeat Fire Candle once and for all. And with the battle done, Haweru says he wants to engage in a formal ring battle with the Gozyugers. The No-Wans, they join Fire Candle in the No-Wan world. They want to create a world where humans and No-Wans can coexist. We fast forward to 1 year later. Samino has been reunited with an awakened Odo. They're on a trip. Ray has recovered. He's supporting Rikuo on a concert tour. Kinjiro is living his life in his youth. Ryugi has plans to franchise the cafe to spread the word of Sword. Hoeru is revealed to have won the ring battle. And
come on, Nate. Let's all the rings out. Yeah. Let's all the rings out.
No, he has all the rings. Whatever. Blah blah blah. And
do it for the vine.
Yeah, the world is indeed worth living in. The episode ends as everyone except Samino arrives in the cafe to enjoy some sausages. So like I said, Samino. So they actually have Samino separate from the main 5 Gozyugers when they return, which probably means that they filmed a lot of this before they brought in Kohaku.
Okay, I'm going to correct you there. They filmed everything, including part of the Boom Boomster crossover movie before they got rid of Maya.
Oh, well, I haven't seen the Boom Boomster crossover movie, so I'll have to watch that.
It's not out yet, but from what everyone said in Japan,
okay,
it's very obvious that there's some green screening happening there.
Yeah. And there are several shots that feature Samino that are cropped. And like I said, Samino's absent in the final scene, so they obviously filmed it before they brought in Kohaku. So yeah, final episode of the Super Sentai franchise. I got a lot to say, but I think we all.
Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying a couple of things to get some humor, then I'm gonna rip it open. Okay. I would have much rathered Coolio over a plate of sausages at the end, the end of a franchise.
Yeah,
because at least Cosmic Fury went out with a good bang, and this didn't. Now that I got the humor out the way, what a load of garbage this was, man! Like, so he decided he didn't have a wish for the entire season. He's like, "Oh, let me invest in the power of friendship and make that my wish." But he wasn't ever really friends with any of them. Like, they all tolerate each other, and they had like that teasing thing of, "Oh, well, we're rivals. Oh, wait, we're not rivals. We're a Sentai. Oh, wait, we have to be rivals because we have to get the rings at some point and have our wish." But he doesn't really know them. He doesn't really care about them. They don't care about him. So he wasted a wish there, number one. And that was stupid. There's no build up to this. Like, he didn't really have there's not even like a flashback to like moments with the team where like they did something meaningful together, because that never happened. There's no meaningful stuff that they did in the past. They're like, oh, I remember that time that Sumino and her did that thing. Remember when Kinzura and her did that thing? Those moments don't exist. It doesn't matter. And then the other thing is just the amount of green screening and hand waving to get Sumino edited out because of Maya, to edit in Kohaka, and no fault to Kohaka whatsoever, but dear God, that last Henson scene was so painful.
Yeah, it was really awkward because she already transformed before they did, and then you have the other four transform, and they're still like helmetless, and then she comes back into the frame, helmet on, and then all of a sudden she doesn't have her helmet on. She has the makeup like that she's about to post transformation. I'm just like, why they do it like this? Why they do it like this?
Literally,
hey, they could have edited that better.
No, they could have edited a whole lot better. Like, I was looking at it, and they could have done a thing where they just replaced Maya in that final scene where they're about to Henson, and green screen over to have Kohaka standing there. That's all they had to do.
Yeah. Yep.
But they didn't do that. They had to make this convoluted thing to literally remind everyone of what happened to Maya. And that's why I'm pissed at this episode. Is because they made it so intentional. Like, oh, hey, but remember we fired the person you actually liked and brought this instead?
You want to know?
Yeah, we didn't forget.
You want to know what's really funny? Forever Red did this a lot better.
Yes.
Oh, with literally Leo?
Yeah, with Danny. How do you pronounce his last name again?
Slavin.
Slavin, yeah. Like, if you look at it, it's clear that they like edited him into the lineup real quickly, but there was still an attempt to make him blend in with the rest of the actors being there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Forever Red came out in what, 2002?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
24 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job, Toei. Good job.
Here's the reason why I hate this, though. Okay, this is the final episode of Super Sentai. Like, until the show inevitably comes back. But for the time being, it's the last episode of the show for the foreseeable future. And to bring up certain things in context, when Kamen Rider went on hiatus, and I believe it was 1980, I can't remember what year, 1989. That's when Black RX came out. They had a big episode, and funnily enough, American audiences would know this too, because they kind of adapted that episode into the Masked Rider. They had a big episode where Kamen Rider Black RX fought alongside all of the previous Kamen Riders as a way to finish the day. Like it. Now I don't know if they brought back the original actors or not, because I haven't seen that episode, but from a novelty standpoint, that's pretty cool. And they did this knowing that Kamen Rider Black RX was going to go on hiatus with an uncertain future. If that had been the final episode of the whole Kamen Rider franchise, that would have been fine. And Metal Heroes, which, I mean, that doesn't hold nearly as much weight as Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, because it was only on for 17 years. But, Metal Heroes, okay, if you don't want to count the Robotalk series, because those two were kind of made more for kids and weren't really part of the greater continuity. But in the Beef-Fighter Kabuto series, you have a crossover episode between the previous Beef-Fighter series and the current Beef-Fighter series. So think of it as kind of like if Beetleborgs Metallics were three different characters and you had them cross over with the original Beetleborgs. You had that. They had a really big final battle. Like I remember Beef-Fighter Kabuto having a big final battle to really as a big send-off. Here, this is Super Sentai. It's been around for 50 years. It's never gone on hiatus, unlike Toei's other properties. When are you finishing this? You're finishing it off what feels like a super generic final battle. And not only
It's
that,
not even
but
super generic. It's less than subpar. It's like
yeah, exactly.
it's abysmal how they did to this ending to make it work. Like they didn't think about anything. And sorry, I know I'm interrupting your rant, but this really pisses me off that we could have had this go off way better. And to bring back Go Kaiser for a second, that final battle with the guy where they're like hand sitting between the different forms over and over again,
Yeah.
that was epic.
Yeah.
But they could have done something like that here, but they didn't do anything like that. They honor 50 years of legacy.
But to go off of what I was saying earlier, like one of the reasons why I really wanted to watch this episode was because I watched the in-game arc is because I really wanted to see what are they going to do from an in-universe perspective surrounding the end of Super Sentai. Like, I wanted to see how they were going to handle that. Like, I was thinking that maybe there was, and to go off of, how I would have done this thing, you could have had it so that whoever wins the ring battle, or somebody else could win the ring battle, doesn't matter who, and take a sword as the final villain, and we find out that this was all like a big scheme from Take a Sword that would involve just bringing an end to Super Sentai as we know it. Ironically enough, Gokaiger kind of did something like that because it's the whole we have to use the greatest treasure in the universe thing, and that would mean destroying all the Super Sentai powers. I was really hoping that they would do something like that from a novelty perspective, just because Super Sentai, it's been around for 50 years and it's about to go away. And surely the production crew knew that when they were making this episode. So I just wish that they would do something to at least try to give weight to the fact that Super Sentai is going. Like maybe Take a Sword is trying to do something that would involve destroying the Super Sentai, and they have to do everything they can to stop Take a Sword, and they're able to end it on a bittersweet note, but also kind of give us a positive note of like, hey guys, Super Sentai has been around for 50 years and it might be going away for a little bit, but it'll continue to live on. Like something in that cheesy regard. And I'm not saying that what they would have done would have been perfect because you still would have had all the problems with what happened in the previous episodes. But if you were trying to do something like that, they would have been willing to give this Sentai a little bit of credit because at least you gave Super Sentai a decent send with your finale. But you did not do that. If I were to watch this episode, I never would have been able to guess that this is the last episode of the whole franchise. Gokaiger's final episode would have been a better finale. Hell, Boomger's and King Oster's finales would have been better final episodes. They at least ranked up really good seasons.
Okay.
You failed as being you fail as being a Sentai in and of yourself, and you sure as hell fail to send off the whole Super Sentai franchise. Shame on you, Gozyuger. Shame, dishonor, every single bad word you can think of in the English and any other language. That's you, Gozyuger. Shame.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, guys. Hang on.
Oh. There.
Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
And it really makes me appreciate Cosmic Fury's final episode.
Yeah.
A lot more in hindsight. Because how does Power Rangers end? A hint and an acknowledgement that Zordon might still be alive to a song based off of Zordon's catchphrase. May the power protect you.
And
it harkened an homage back to Mighty Morphin in a very sincere way.
And then on top of that, also, they had great Easter eggs throughout the last episode of Cosmic Fury with like Lord Zed. I mean, he's not really an Easter egg, he's the villain, but he's still a callback to the original villains. The Morphin Grid stuff, like that was all really clever, like to really put some weight on what's happening here.
The reverse Z-Wave, a nice homage back to the most beloved finale in the franchise.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So they did so many things right in Cosmic Fury that, most of our audience probably doesn't agree with, but
yeah,
whatever. I don't care. Still, eons better than what we got in Gozyuger by far.
Mhm.
Because they could have done something. Sorry, Nate. They could have done something where we have all these rings, but if you gather all the rings together in one person, that's too much Ranger energy, similar to like too much pink in Mighty Morphin, to where that could have been another problem. Like they had to go deal with the weight of like having all of the power in one hand. But they don't do that. They don't do anything interesting to make it like have some weight of, oh, well, gathering the rings could destroy all of humanity and all of the universes and everything. And then like have some weird, interesting edit to where maybe you see like a quick edited thing from archived Sentai footage where everyone's looking up the sky and the sky's turning dark and things start to go like boom, like they could have done so many interesting things here.
I think the best route you could have done is that you could have, like, first off, you should have brought back as many red actors as you possibly can. You can't tell me that they couldn't do that, because in the Boom Boomger versus Gozyuger crossover movie, you have Marvelous coming back. You have the guy who played Yamato from Zyuohger coming back. You had Sotaru Pokken Red coming back. You literally got Sasuke back. Like, you should have tried your best to get back all of the former Red Sentai actors, at least the ones that you absolutely possibly could have. And I mean, hell, you can't even tell me that you couldn't get the guy who played Takeru in Shinkenger, because he apparently did say that he would have been willing to come back. But I'm not gonna dig into that type of drama, because that's for another thing. But you should have them all come back, and then the big final battle is that the Gozyugers are joined by all of the former Red Sentai Rangers, and they all have to come together and defeat Sword, who's the final villain. And that kind of happens at the cost of, like, Super Sentai kind of making the ultimate sacrifice the same way that they had to do it to defeat the Zanyak. And you could have ended it on a bittersweet note where it's like, the Super Sentai, they had to defeat their ultimate big bad in this, like, vengeful god and take a sword, but you can still end it on a hopeful note. Maybe I could get some better ideas, like maybe after I watch Kamen Rider Black RX and kind of see how the whole weight behind that final battle. But yeah, my whole point is that for ending 50 years of a franchise, you need to do way more. And when Power Rangers, the show that, I really hate to say this, but like Super Sentai for the most part does tend to be a little bit more sophisticated in how it does things compared to Power Rangers, but not in this case. Power Rangers kicked its butt, for lack of a better term. So
here's a fun idea. Here's a fun idea for you to reconsider for your eventual rewrite. He wants his wish, and Sword, he turns out to be evil or whatever. And he's like, I want to bring back my friends or whatever. And he was like, only if you kill me. And he turns evil and he starts unraveling the universe or whatever. And then the rest of the rings come to life and act as like shadows to fight alongside him. So the final battle is all 50 Reds versus Sword.
Yep.
How beautiful would that have been?
Yep.
Patrick, anything would have been better.
Standpoint, that would have been great.
Yeah, and then I know it doesn't involve having the whole team of Gozyugers fighting the final boss, but it's a wrap up to Sentai. You don't need them. You just having all 50 Reds stand alongside each other would have been art.
Yep,
it would have been, but that's the thing. You could have done a lot of different things to get a good ending. Even the way they did the handover.
Before we go into overall thoughts, I just want to say I hate this finale. The only reason that I wasn't in such a bad mood for the rest of the day after I watched this was because it was my birthday and my favorite NFL team won the Super Bowl a couple of hours later.
Dang right.
Still, yes. But it's a 1 out of 10. Terrible finale.
like I was gonna say before Nate cut me off.
No. Just score 1 out of 10 before Riz can say what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10 so I can stop being asked for a rating. There.
Okay, cool. There you go. And I'm
Okay,
assuming
Patrick
will do that.
They're also giving a 1. We're moving on. I'm not even letting them answer.
I am. No, he's not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even the scene where they hand off to Gavin Infinity, that was also crap. Like you're telling me you couldn't have Horero walk up to him and do like a handshake or a high five or something? No, just the ring appears in his hand. He's like, Gavin Infinity time. I'm like, dude, that's do a real handover. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Like everything about this is terrible. And you know what? I said it in most every podcast over the last couple of in the series that we've done for Gozyuger, but I'm going to say it again to all 3 of you. I freaking told you guys from day 1 this is gonna be garbage, and you're like, "No, Riz, we're gonna give it a chance, Riz. We're gonna hope that it's better than this."
How are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to know that?
Yeah, you'll
never
judge a series by its first episode.
Was I wrong?
No, but I feel like the problem is that like you'll watch the first episode, you'll decide that you dislike it, and then okay, so frequently you'll be right, but I feel like oftentimes you're trying to dislike it instead of trying to give it a chance.
I mean, I do give everything a chance. Gekki Ranger was terrible to get from the get-go, though. There's no saving that one. I couldn't stand Zahn. I tried to like Gekki Ranger, but Zahn made it impossible for me.
No. That's fair enough. But yeah, just go ahead. What else were you going to say?
But no, like this entire series has just been a cluster. Like, again, poor writing. They didn't know how to focus on the right stuff. They're focusing on these random one-off characters that had no purpose. They're focusing on the rings and making like these number 1 battles that had no purpose whatsoever. And didn't even honor 50 years of legacy. Did we ever get a single legacy episode minus Ninja Red? Not really, no.
Nope.
We had these random characters we don't really care about, and that's the same thing we had the problem with Decade for. Decade goes the same problem where we had these random characters wear the suit, and we're like supposed to be like, oh look, that's however many years of Kamen Rider. We're going to celebrate the anniversary for that one, and really going to feel the nostalgia. But no, it's just a freaking suit. I can go to Ranger Stop and Pop and see the same suits there and be like, not get the same and have more impact.
Like Decade didn't bring back past actors?
No.
They
really? Wow.
They brought back 1 or 2.
But not in the same role.
No.
Oh wow. No,
like they brought back a Kamen Rider as not that Kamen Rider.
Yeah, they brought back the guy who played Kiva, but he wasn't Kiva.
He wasn't Kiva, no.
Right.
Wow, that is stupid.
Right.
No wonder people hate Decade.
But here's the funny thing. That's also a neat parallel because here's the thing. Kiva was the season that came out before Decade, and you had the guy who played Kiva come in to not play Kiva. This is the same thing.
Yeah,
the guy who
Taya's actor came back, but not as Taya. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should have been that was the Omen.
And that's where I was basing some of my early And that's where I based my original concern from was, hey, we got Taya back, but he's not gonna be Taya. What are they doing here? They're putting a Decade on us from episode 1. That's why I was like, okay, I have concerns with this being another Decade. And y'all weren't listening.
Yeah.
So excuse me if I watched episode 1, I'm like, hey, here's a red flag, guys, and you're all like, no, it's fine, it's okay, it'll be great. Give it a chance, Riz. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the red flags.
I mean, in the defense of us, you were waving the red flag about Takaru the whole season until the last second. So,
okay, I admit I was wrong on that one. But I will also say I didn't call Shinkenzer garbage. I called Takaru garbage. I actually loved Shinkenzer all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't talking about the whole season. I was talking about him.
But Takaru. But see, that's part of the beauty of Takaru. he made you feel something. He made you feel anger towards him. And that's the mark of a good character.
Yeah.
The anger I felt towards the green guy in the season, that's not the same thing.
The green guy.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute.
But the point is,
Yeah,
the point is, there were red flags from the beginning, and I definitely agree that Takeru was a red herring for me. Pun intended, FYI.
Hew.
But in this case, I tried to give it a chance. I'm like, okay, maybe these guys are right. Maybe it'll get better. Senkinser fooled me. No, it didn't get better. And I kept like seeing it like for the first 4 or 5 episodes. I'm like, okay, I don't see improvement. I don't see anything getting better. In fact, it's getting worse. And also the other thing I hate about this season, we didn't get a dang Megazord. Where's the Megazord? Where's the combination?
Yeah, Tegazord being one thing was definitely off-putting.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to have those 5 different little guys become like a Sogen Megazord of some kind.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they couldn't even muster that.
And I mean, I don't even get why you couldn't do, like, everybody says that, like, it's because of Sentai's budget and everything.
No, that's not a budget thing.
No. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like one of the reasons why we haven't really gotten that many combination mechs, like we didn't really get anything with Kira Major, was because they were talking about budgets. But it's like, are you really meaning to tell me that you're so strapped for cash that you can't afford to make 5 individual Tegaswords and have them combine into a mech? Like, you can't make one main mech where they're all together? Are you really meaning to tell me you are that strapped for cash? Because I find that impossible to believe.
They have money to put a green screen Kohaka in.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you have to do? And you don't even really have to make like multiple different robot suits for, well, I mean, actually the funny thing is you kind of did, because there were multiple times where they had like the different forms of Tegasword fighting, and it clearly wasn't CGI or anything, but it's like, when all 5 are together, you can just use CGI or some weird green screen stuff, and you don't even have to show them fighting all 5 at the same time. You can compensate by having just have one of them fight one by one, but then like make that one suit for the robot, for the main robot form, where they're all 5 combined. Like, I find it really hard to believe that you are so strapped for cash that you couldn't afford to do that.
And they also couldn't afford to hire a good writer. No offense to this person. I know they're the, daughter of Jetman's writer or something?
Yeah.
But could you not have hired a better writing team to help you? Like, there's so many characterization things that I'm like, okay, we're not even talking about the same character halfway through the season anymore with Sumino. Like, as soon as Maya and Kohaka split and did their like trade-off, it was a different character. It was not the same Sumino from before. It was like a more happy, upbeat, goofy version of Sumino. I'm like, what the hell is this? They couldn't get decent writers in here to fix any continuity, or to be like, hey, Kohaka, can you try and be more like Maya to maintain some semblance of it? But no, they made her a joke from the get-go. And it's not Kohaka's fault. That's the writing's fault. Like, the entire, like, okay, taking Maya out of the equation for, I'm pissed that it did that to begin with. But taking her out of the equation and then having some other actress come in, whoever it is, doesn't mean you can just all of a sudden be like, okay, we're going to rewrite the entire character to be more goofy.
Yeah. It really did feel like they tried to write some, out of the show without actually writing her out of the show. And it was painfully obvious.
They could have just said, like, hey, Sumino's gone on detective stuff. So here's Mumino, Sumino's cousin, and Steve's here to continue being a detective in the family business.
Mumino.
I don't know. I was trying to think of a name.
Actually, the fan theory that was happening around the time was that they should have let Oda take over.
That would have been so much better.
Yeah, her
sister.
sister.
Oh yeah, sister. Yeah.
They should have let her take over.
And
Like-
honestly, there's even a part in the fan theory where like, hey, Odo might actually be a female Marvelous, and I thought that'd be pretty badass as well to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do any of it.
No. They really
Like,
should have
every
reached out to
time-
one of their better writers for this season. Because, like,
They should have brought back Kobayashi.
yeah, like,
Yeah, especially since I don't know what she's been doing since Tokyuger, because I don't think she's been in Kamen Rider. So yeah, if there was ever a season where I wish they would have brought her back, it would have been this one.
could you imagine this cast with Shinkenger and Ginga Man's character writing?
Yeah.
Coochie Mama.
Oh yeah, it would have been like
would've been great.
freaking-tastic.
Ooh. I'm salivating at the idea, but we'll never get it.
Well,
And that's the
I
thing, is
mean-
like this entire season was just terribly done to the point of my compromise to everyone in this podcast is from here on out when we're done recording this, we will never again acknowledge Gozyuger except for that one crossover movie in the future, and we're gonna pretend that Boom Boomers where this entire thing ended.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Because if there's I mean, I'll go into more detail when like we give like the final like rating, but like the only positive thing I can say when I was watching not only this but like the final episode was that like if there was ever a time where it was kind of becoming clear that Super Sentai really needed a break, it was this, to the point where ironically enough, I am kind of happy that this was the end of Super Sentai because it shows how badly it needed a break. But on the other hand, I'm also pretty sad that it didn't end with a better season that could have given us a little bit hope for the future. But that what's done is done, and we can only just hope that very soon another Sentai will come out and we can just forget that this was the big finale.
I just looked up Yasuko Kobayashi to see what she's doing right now. Anthony, you want to guess what she's doing?
What?
That's not guessing.
I don't know. Just tell me.
Anime.
The Steel Ball Run JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Really?
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
crap.
Yeah. That's why the JoJo anime has been so well received lately.
Dude,
Yes.
Well,
episode 1 of that was peak anime.
Mhm.
well, she also did. I think she did most of Attack on Titan. So which,
She also
yeah, I
did
mean-
she also did some other JoJo stuff before that in the live action world, which I didn't know existed until right now, by the way. But whatever.
Oh yeah.
okay, so I guess to kind of move on here, we can talk about the villains for a little bit. Okay, Take It June and Mr. and Mrs. Knife Cake. I don't
care about them. I'm not going to give an opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
They suck.
Well, let's talk about Fire Candle first, though, because there's a lot of substance there on Fire Candle.
He's the
Yeah.
best character of the show.
Big facts.
Yeah.
I'm being
Fire Candle and
wholeheartedly agree with
Bouquet.
that.
Yeah,
I like Fire Candle and Bouquet. Everyone else could just not have existed, and I've been
Yeah.
fine.
Agreed.
I do want to give
I-
Fire Candor's actor up some praise because man, he got into it, and I loved every second of his over-the-top acting.
Yes.
yeah. And honestly, I mean, I looked at him more as the main villain than Tegajun. I'd probably put him in like a B tier, maybe A tier main villain if we're looking at it from that perspective. Because I liked him, but I mean, again,
I'll
best
put him in
character
A
of the
tier.
show.
I'd give
Yeah.
him an A tier. I'd give Bouquet a B tier. I think they're both really good characters.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't-
I wouldn't put them on Rio and Melee's level, but they're good number 2 if we want to talk about like the psychotic man and woman, like villain and villainess. They're pretty good.
I'll also say Tegajun had no personality.
No, she did.
No, she did.
Mr. and Mrs. Knife Cake were just there to exist and take up space on the screen.
Yeah.
Who was Kuon again?
Hoaru's brother.
Yeah.
He doesn't exist half the time. I don't care about him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't either.
And then who the hell was Ray?
I mean,
Odo's kidnapper.
technically I put him here, but yeah, that Rikuo's old friend who was Odo's kidnapper. I mean, I think we kind of already said our piece about him, though. It was either in the previous one or the one
No,
before
I
that.
have. No, what?
So-
Matter of fact, I have one more thing to say about him.
Yeah, go
That
ahead.
man needs to be in jail. I don't care about, oh, a fan hurt my arm, so now I'm gonna go crazy and be evil now. Like, no, you kidnapped this woman's sister. You need to go to jail. I don't care what you've been through. You need to go to jail. Under the jail. The fact that you're out here like, oh look, I'm gonna praise my friend Byakuya. No, he's like Byakuya's like, oh my god, you're here. You need to despise this man with all your Byakuya. Just for that, you're getting an F tier for that. F tier. I don't even. I'm skipping the whole thing with the ratings. He's getting an F tier just for that moment alone. You let the kidnapper of one of your allies just out roaming about like, oh, hey, how's it going? I missed you. No! Get out and never come back.
That's fair. But yeah, now we can move on to the main thing. Although everyone, just a fair warning, expect a lot of D tiers at best. Because there's no notable supporting characters, and I don't think we really have to say much about the villains outside of Fire Kindle and Bokhead. So let's give our final tier rankings for the Gozyugers. And you know what? I'm not going to start off with Hoeru.
I was about to say, start off with Mashiro, work our way up.
Yeah, I'm going to leave him and Samino for last because the other four people are going to be super easy. Let's just get them out of the way. So
Okay,
let's start
Mashiro's
off
an F
with
tier.
Mashiro. Yeah, Mashiro was F tier.
Absolutely. He is in contention with Ricky for my least favorite Sixth Ranger. Like,
and he knows what
right.
the sad part about it is,
hands down.
You think so?
He beats Ricky hands down. You're being way too mean to Ricky right now, and that's a travesty.
I don't know. It's forgettable loser versus the most infuriating character we've ever gotten.
Okay, but I'd rather a forgettable loser than to somebody who makes me scream at the TV.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you want to know what sad part is, though? I wanted to like him. I really did. I really wanted to like him, but he disappointed me.
If they had him go through an arc where he got humbled, it would have helped him immensely. But the fact that they just kept feeding his god complex just made him more and more insufferable as the show went along.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about this off the top of my head because we weren't watching Majin Ranger at that point, but I was really hoping that they could have him do something similar to what Hikaru kind of did, where he kind of became a mentor afterwards. Like, he starts off thinking of himself as a god, then he gets humbled. He starts, trying to be a bit friendlier toward the Gozyugers and maybe warning them about some things. And then, I don't know, maybe if you want to go off the whole idea that Tega Sword is the villain, what you should have done is like maybe ultimately reveal that maybe he has some amnesia of sorts, and like maybe he ultimately forgets, like, oh wait, now I remember Tega Sword did all these horrible things. Like, I don't know, there's a lot that you could have done with Mashiro, and instead what you do is basically make him a discount Kaiba, and not even good Kaiba for the Japanese version. I'm talking the whole...
Wow, what a good comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even talking about the Japanese version, though. I'm talking about the whole, you're a third-grade duelist with a 4th-rank deck, and I'm going to beat you and become number one, Yugi. Like, that Kaiba.
Good grief.
Except at least Kaiba's entertaining. This guy isn't even entertaining. I mean, he's literally wearing a long, like, okay, I think his coat is sleeveless, but he wears a long white coat, just like Kaiba's iconic design. He's discount Kaiba. That's the best way I can describe him.
Oh my god! And his partner is white with blue eyes.
Yeah, they had kind of in mind when they wrote this, but I guess they watched the Yu-Gi-Oh dub instead of the
it's like-
Japanese version.
Oh my god. It all comes together.
Mhm.
Yeah. Riz, I know you haven't watched Yu-Gi-Oh before, but just believe us when we say that like discount Kaiba is not a good thing.
No, no.
I know that much about Yu-Gi-Oh to know that's a true
And my
statement.
blue eyes white bear.
Yeah. So yeah, F tier. Yeah. That and yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm gonna say that he's the worst. I have no problem saying that.
Mashiro?
Yeah,
We'll debate that in a minute.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's either him, Ricky, or Jiro from Don
As a
Brothers.
Sixth Ranger. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I'm gonna go back to what Patrick said earlier to finish my thought because I got cut off. Ricky is nowhere near as bad as Mashiro. I don't care what you say. Like Mashiro's in his own category of F tier. He's like F to the negative infinity tier bad.
Yeah.
Ricky is just forgettable and not there half the time. That's different. I can accept that.
Yeah, I think
Fair
I think
enough.
we're all in kind of agreement at Mashiro. So let's move on to let's do Rikuo next.
Which one's he?
Blue.
Blue.
Okay, so
I already made my rain already, so you already know what I feel about him.
If you ask me, Rikuo is the one that had the most potential to be a decent character, and they just floundered everything about him.
Yeah.
Like he was given stuff, like he was given the hooks, but they didn't carry through on it. So I would say high F tier, low D tier for him, just because I saw the attempt, but there wasn't anything to go with the attempt.
Yeah.
I would definitively say F because, and now granted, the reason why I call him the worst Sentai Blue Ranger is because looking back, there's not that many, options that I have. Because the only other options that I remember were Don from G Ranger, who rewatching G Ranger, okay, he was bad, but I don't think like egregiously bad. And then Gal Blue, didn't really like him, but I'll have to rewatch Gal Ranger. But there's a lot of things about Rikuo that I just remember really frustrating me. And he seems very superficial. I 100% agree with Riz that if you just tweaked him a little bit, he could have been better. But the fact of the matter is, those tweaks don't exist. So,
yeah, no, and that's why
he's the worst.
That's why I tether on the F and the D tier because I feel like he's better than the other two bumbling idiots we have after this.
Yeah. I do agree that he's probably the most inoffensive of the characters that got the crap end of the stick. I still think like I know that his personality isn't as bad as some of the other characters either. Like he's cool. He has some annoying moments, but he's like one of the few semi-enjoyable parts of the season. So I'm like, he's not as bad as Tricera Ranger or O Blue, who were basically like non-existent people. But like, he's not like ISA or crap, what's her name from Magi Ranger already? I forgot her name. Urara, yeah, like he's nowhere near like those guys, but
I mean, he's not even on the level of like Rin from Goanger, where you're not an amazing blue, but you're a perfectly fine blue. He's not even on their level.
Yeah, he's not. He's like, I think Riz's like low D tier ranking is pretty reasonable. Like, I think that the F should be reserved for like Tricera Ranger and O Blue because like who even are they as people? We don't know.
Well, I only gave him that because of what I just mentioned earlier in the rate.
I got.
The thing is, like the way I look at those kind of characters, Pat, like your Tricera Blue example in this case, I wouldn't give them an F tier. I would give them a D tier because they haven't offended me. I reserve F tier for when they offend me.
I mean, they're so hollow that it is kind of offensive to me. But
but you took that as an offense. I don't. I think that's poor writing. I can move past that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all perspective. But those two, I'm like, they're not even really characters. They're just like people in costumes at that point. And
they're just fillers at that point.
Yeah, that's just a complete waste of oxygen. But so, yeah.
Anthony, want to add anything else on Rikuo?
You do remember I said this earlier, right?
Yeah,
we know it's an F tier. We can move on. We don't have to rate again.
Yeah.
All right. I want to save Kinjiro for last because he's my personal word. Let's do Ryugi first between the two other idiots.
I'm gonna light him up for a second here. Ryugi is an F tier character. He is horrendous.
Yep.
God,
the only time I like Ryugi is when he stopped being yellow, and he was a doctor.
Yes. That's the only time he was bearable.
Why was that the only time he was a decently written thing?
Because he was obsessed with freaking Tegasword.
The entire obsessed with Tegasword thing got so old so quickly, and I was like, okay. What was it, like in episode 2 or 3? I was like, guys, I can't do Ryugi anymore. He's so bad. And you're all like, give him a chance. He might get better. I'm like, okay. And then here we are. And I'm like, guys, he didn't get better. I try to tell people stuff. With Ryugi, he was a one-beat character, man. Like, he didn't do anything. He just sat there and cried, oh, Tegasword loves me. I'm like, okay, first of all, how do you know enough about Tegasword to make a religion around him?
Yeah,
exactly. That's a good point.
How did you even get to the point of, I know Tegasword and I know to pray to him in a certain way with these statues, and I'm going to hold this festival for Tegasword with all my acolytes that I've collected because I'm a cult leader?
Yeah.
And then he never has any conflict with Tegasword. Like, there's never like he pissed off Tegasword by sleeping in late and eating his eggs sunny side up. Like, he never did anything to like in the bad eye of Tegasword. He's always like that Mary Sue of acolytes to Tegasword, and that's about it.
Yeah.
There could have been a time where like he could have argued and maybe like, you know what? Why am I praising to you? You're just another entity. You're just like you don't do anything special. Like
why
that could have been like
why do you keep kissing Haruru's butt? I'm the one that's praising you all the time. What the heck? You know, that could have been something.
Yeah.
It could have been, but it wasn't.
And I wouldn't just call him F tier. I would call him the worst Sentai Yellow Ranger. Now, granted, again, with Rikuo, a big part of it is because I don't think he has much competition. Like, the only other options I would think of, like, Hearing Ranger, because I know people like Kazu. I don't. He didn't have a single focus episode to him. Don't know who Kazu is. Same thing with Yellow Turbo and the only one that I remember being egregiously bad was Go Yellow from Go 5, but we'll have to rewatch that. But honestly, I don't even remember being as annoyed with Go Yellow as I did with Ryugi. So yeah, Ryugi very much, there's a huge gap between him and the second worst Sentai Yellow Ranger. Got no problem saying that.
Yeah.
I kind of think that he should have been the comedic character, not Ryugi, if I'm just being real.
Who should have been comedic?
Ryugi over Kenjiro.
He was the comedic.
Yeah, but they tried to make Kenjiro the comedic character.
No, they made them both comedic and it failed. Like, they made Ryugi comedic, but he wasn't funny. He was annoying.
Yeah, they should have made him like the punching bag character, where like he acts like he knows what he's doing. He talks a big game, and then he always trips over his own shoelaces. I think he had the perfect character archetype to make that character work. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know really what to say about this character. Like, the rest of you guys have made your case with him. I genuinely have no idea what to make of this character.
Yeah.
He's like
terrible.
He's like
the only reason I call Kinjiro worse, spoiler alert for when we talk about him, is that with Kinjiro, it makes me angry how there's a lot of potential there, but they screw it up. The issue that I have with Ryugi is that outside of just kind of making him a bit clumsier and like, I don't know, maybe trying to play him up more like how like, because I remember when we watched the first episode, I kind of viewed him as being kind of a homage to the original Yellow Sentai Ranger, where he's just kind of he's a strong guy, but he's also kind of an idiot. I honestly would have liked that they just went all out with him playing that character up, not try to make him all that sympathetic. Maybe do it in a way where he's kind of like Sosuke, where he thinks to him, even though he's an idiot, because that way he doesn't transition into being like the John type of idiot. But that's the only way I could see it really working.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know, like low D, high F, something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
For Ryugi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an F. He's an F. But
all right.
I respect you giving him a D if you think your rationale is there, because I think you have a decent rationale for making a D case for him.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
I mean, it's the same reason as I do for Rikuo. It's like you've got like the hollow shell yellows that Zoo Ranger and O Ranger and stuff had that I think are worse.
But the thing is, Rikuo had the marks of being an interesting character with some, strife with the idol thing, and then the Sumino's sister thing. Like, he had some stuff going for him.
Yeah.
But Ryugi was a one-note character who was like, I will forever worship Sword. I will sit in this corner and worship him all day long, 24/7, and that was all he did.
Yeah, that's why I had Ryugi.
So that's why he's worse than Rikuo to me.
Oh, for sure.
I think when you really needed an episode where maybe someone caught him in private, where maybe he wasn't being just a total Sword monk, and maybe that could have revealed that like he's super dedicating himself to that because he's just so desperate to do something other than what his parents were raising him for. And then you could have revealed for him that he's just kind of a mentally broken guy who's without guidance. And honestly enough, we could have fed in well with the with when he lost his powers and when he got back as Gozyuger. That could have been a big tipping point for his character, because now his wish isn't to just be Sword's big number one fanboy. His desire is to find something to motivate him to live outside of just being an all hail Sword type of thing. Like, just find something to live for instead of, just doing what his parents were trying to force him to do, or what he started doing out of desperation to get out of that.
And that goes back to the point I made earlier about their wishes gradually evolving as the season went along.
Yeah. And in Ryugi's case, you could have easily done that, because that's his new wish when he gets his powers back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should definitely write that down when I eventually try to write.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you better be taking notes for your rewrite, because we're giving you a lot of good ideas.
Patrick, he has all the notes. It's called Listen to the Dang Podcast we recorded.
I was saying. Yeah. But yeah, now we can move on to Kinjiro. Which
who
the main thing people need to remember about Kinjiro is that there was a podcast when I unironically went right from Ryugi to Sumino, because I unironically forgot that this guy even existed.
Okay, hang on, guys.
That was not a joke.
All right, I'm gonna light him up real quick.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
I hate this guy with every fiber of my being, to be quite honest with y'all. He was the worst written character of this season. He brought nothing of value to the season. He was terrible. He was annoying. He was a one-note idiot, except his one note is actually worse than the guy who worshipped some little statue that was a Zord. All he wanted to do was become a young guy again to go be a partier. Why the hell do you gotta go party? Why, you ask? Wait 48 episodes to find out, mother. You know what? Because it don't even matter. That's all he wanted was just a party. He spends every episode like, oh, well, let me go to the kegger. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. You know what the weird part about him was, though? That nobody ever talks about when it comes to this character? Is that he's unironically a pedophile. Let that sink in for a second.
Oh,
he
yeah, I
literally
didn't even
went to
think
a
about
party.
that.
He literally
Mhm.
went to parties with young girls and tried to party with them with the assumption that he's going to get laid because he's a big
Ooh.
partier. And these are
Ooh.
girls who are like, what, 50 years younger than him? That's not weird to
Mhm.
y'all? That's not something to
I
be worried
didn't
about?
even think about. I didn't even think
I
about that.
mentioned it
That's
in a
sad.
podcast before. This has been in a podcast before, guys. Y'all just
Yeah,
don't
probably-
listen to me.
It's probably so long ago that I genuinely.
It
slipped
really
my
has been
mind
so
that you
long
brought that.
ago. And you say a
Yeah.
lot. You say a lot of stuff, Riz. I mean, what we expect?
I'm not gonna remember
Sure.
all of it, but
To remember
No,
we
it-
have a
it-
Sentai character who's basically a pedophile? That's a pretty big thing to remember.
I've
I've never liked
chose.
him.
Yeah,
I've had arguments with people who like our podcast. You know who I'm talking to if you ever listen to this guy, but I know you're not going to listen because you hate Gozyuger too much to listen. But I have spent so much time arguing with certain fans about why he's a bad character, and it wouldn't stick in. He's like, "Oh, he just wants to let loose. He just wants to party." I'm like, it doesn't matter if he wants to party or not. He's an old ass man. You're not here to party. Your character could have been so much more. You could have been like that sage voice of reason. You could have been like this, army vet who was given a chance at youth again, and now he's gonna use the power of the ring to do something. Or he could be like a mentor character and like mentor them and like, hey, here's how you actually fight. Because Horror doesn't know how to fight. He's a freaking loser who was given a ring to maybe turn his life around, but he doesn't know what his wish is. This guy could have been that veteran guy who'd be like, hey, yo, kid, you're an idiot. Let me help you out here. Let me teach you the ways of the world. Let me be that sage advisor for you. No, he didn't do that. And he's like, let's go party. Let's go party. I'm like, stop. Don't do this. Just don't do it. I hate you. You're the worst thing to ever exist. You're almost as bad as Don. Actually, you are worse than Don. I will fully admit that. You know why I admit that? Because at least Don wasn't a freaking pedophile.
wow, we've hit a new low, guys.
And
It's
almost at the
official.
end of the series to
Don't
do
be-
so.
Compared negatively to John.
Don has
Mama.
beat him by 0.00001%.
Dang, we're getting down to-
Honestly, I would have liked it if the whole party thing was just kind of a cover up. Because what I really would have liked it is that you still go with the whole party thing, but that's just what he says. And then maybe midway through, we get an episode that reveals that his true wish was actually he did something horrible when he was a kid, when he was young, that just kind of hung over him for his entire life. And he's always kind of felt that he was a bad person. And this is his chance to like redo his youth and live his life in a better way where maybe he did. And I'm not going to go into details.
But
with,
you
like,
don't
what thing it
you
was
don't
bad, but
need
you
the
get what I
rings to
mean.
do that. You don't need
Well-
the fucking rings to do that. You already got the youth from some other magical crap. Like, you don't need to have the rings grant you a wish. You were already sent back in time to become a young guy again. You can do your life over without needing to waste your wish on that.
But the part where the ring maybe comes in is that maybe he did something absolutely horrible. Like maybe he was a criminal and he killed a lot of people, or he did some stuff that was absolutely really horrible. And the way that the rings go in is that this is his chance to make up for what he did in his youth by being a hero.
Thing is bad then for this season.
Wait, what?
The messaging is bad then.
Yeah, but
It sends the wrong thematic message as a season, which the season doesn't care about thematics anyway, but I care about thematics. If you got a character that bad and you say, okay, you killed a bunch of people, you stole all the stuff, you
Fair
were just a
enough,
downright
fair enough.
scoundrel, and then you have a chance to whisk it all away and get forgiven, that's a bad message.
okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that might not be a good idea to visit. Okay, thank you for
No,
telling
that's
me
actually
this.
that's actually even worse.
I mean, we get the idea of where you're going with it, but they could have done it in a
Right.
different way.
Well, I mean, they could have done something to where, like, maybe he killed somebody's mother in his youth,
Yeah,
and now he's working to redeem himself in the eyes of that daughter.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being an interesting storyline if they played it right, but even then, that would have to be a really close thing to like really play it off. And
Yeah, you have to be very careful writing something like that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm like. They'd rather not do that. I'd rather him been like some military vet who was there to help whip him all into shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, be that serious stoic guy we needed. We didn't have one.
yeah. But yeah, that's
So
why I call this guy the worst Green Sentai Ranger ever. And there's a ton. There's actually quite a bit of competition. Like I'm not a big fan of. I didn't really like Green Sai and Live Man.
Were they
Green was
pedophiles?
no, he's not.
Okay, then your answer has been given to you.
Yeah, no. You guys know how much I hated O Green later in the later episodes when we did O Ranger.
Why did you hit O
but-
Green?
Because he was an idiot in several episodes and in like a in like really cringe fashion. And I don't like Ryuso Green, but yeah, honestly, the more I think about it, none of these characters were nearly all of the Green Sentai Rangers that I dislike, and there's actually quite a few of them. None of them I found to be as egregious as Goju, which is why I'm gonna say which is why I'm gonna say F tier, and he's the worst.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
hit it.
I'm gonna one up here and say F negative infinity times F worse than anything else I've ever seen.
What's the and I'll take it.
What's the Mr. Crocker joke from Fairly Odd Parents? Super F, where it had the cape. The test had the cape and everything.
Yeah,
he ticks me. I know that I crapped on Mashiro a lot, but this character, it's like he doesn't tick me off because of. I guess it's the same reasons, but from a different perspective. I screamed this a lot when we were talking about Zoo Ranger that misplaced potential is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to writing, and this character is like the epitome of misplaced potential because there's so many ways they could have taken this character to make him maybe one of, if not one of the best Sentai Rangers we've ever had. Because the dynamic they went into the show with him was so unique, and them just dropping the ball at every turn, like character just infuriates me from like what he could have been versus what we've got. It's just like what Riz said earlier, it's insulting to the watcher with what they did with this guy. Like
I mean, it's not even just insulting, it's a crime for the fans to have to endure this guy.
Yep.
So while I've been teetering on low D with the last couple of guys, this guy is hard F.
Super F, dare we say?
Super F.
Super F.
I'm gonna post a GIF in the Toku chat now for you guys.
Yeah. Okay, now we got the easy guys out of the way. Let's move on to the two ones.
That was easy. I just ranted for like a straight 10 minutes about this guy.
But it was easy to figure out where we were
where to put them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other two are also easy to me, but carry on.
Let's go to Hoeru, which like I'm not going to go through the trouble of ranking Hoeru with all the other Reds, but what I am going to say is I think he definitively belongs in the C tier, and you can't think of that many other C tier Reds, which is why I'm not going to compare him to anybody. But to me, it's like I think there's a lot of potential with him there, but unlike some of the other characters who were wasted potential, I don't think they did an egregious job with him. Honestly, the only thing I would have done with him is that I probably would have tried to go more of the route of making him a little bit clumsier and more awkward, because Rich was frequently comparing him to a Deku from My Hero Academia. I think that's a fair
Who was?
comparison. You.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
You think it's a full comparison, and maybe it's also just because it's fresh in my mind, because my wife and I are rewatching My Hero Academia ahead of the because we're trying to watch the whole thing. But yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. I would have liked to see him be a bit more like Deku, and maybe and give him a couple of more focus, like maybe emphasize a little bit more his friendships with the Rangers. But as it is, I don't think there's anything that egregious that really makes me angry, which is why I can't even put him in D tier, because they tried to do some stuff with him. I'm not saying that they succeeded, but yeah, that's why he would be in C for me, because they tried to do some stuff. Did it work out? Not entirely, but
I mean,
that's more than what you can say about some of these other Rangers.
Honestly, I didn't hate this guy at all. I thought he was a decent red.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that they messed up on his character, keep him away from being B tier, was literally the fact that he didn't know his wish until the very last second.
Yeah.
And then he had to struggle to be like, oh, well, let me go to Power Friendship. Like, they should have given him something around like the 30 episode mark, when like, here's your goal in life. Here's what you want.
Yep.
And then he could have weighed that against the Power of Friendship at the end, and that would have made him a lot more interesting.
Yeah. They definitely needed to do more episodes where, because here's the thing, I didn't really like that episode where he had to choose between living in some dream world where he's back with his parents, and then living in the real world. I liked what they were trying to do by implying that he's developed such a bond with the other Gozyugers. I just wish that they emphasized that a bit more.
That's honestly where I stand with him, is that the other characters, they suffered because of the direction that they took with their characters. But Hareru was a character who was going to be good or bad depending on how they wrote the story. Because the season was ultimately kind of his journey to figuring out what it is he really wanted. And they kind of, at the end, ended up writing him as a loner that didn't want to be a loner, because he wanted to be with his family. Well, then he lost his brother. He wanted his team to be friends. Well, he ended up losing his friends because of that fight with the Calamity, but they didn't write those connections well enough for it to have the impact you want. So I think he as a character is fine, but the story failed him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think C is a good ranking for him, because the character writing was good, but the stuff and the story happening around him didn't do him justice. So yeah, a C is a pretty fair rank for him.
I would probably say that he's a guy with the potential to be a B or possibly even an A tier red trapped in an F tier Sentai.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on to the hardest one, I think.
Yeah, Sumino.
Cool. I am very conflicted on Sumino because he was a B tier until Kohaku came along. And then it's hard to judge her because she's two different characters at this point. On one hand, she was like that really confident, badass detective who was there to like find her sister. She had a driven reason to be there. And then Maya got canned. Kohaku came in. And Sumino turned into a really big goofball.
And like she wasn't even like when she played her character, but I played a different character in Dawn Brothers. Yeah, she was goofy, but like that goofiness didn't happen because kind of like something that happened like over time, and like she was kind of like the voice of everybody who's watching the show, because the show can make no sense whatsoever. But we found it hilarious because she was the voice. She was the voice of reason. Like This makes absolutely no sense. Why are they doing this? This is stupid.
Yeah. So that's why I have a hard time with her, is because she's two different people.
Yeah.
I oddly wasn't as high on her as you were. I know that you were popping her up because I mean I'm not gonna even debate this. She is the best written character in the season. That's not for debate. But I think we may have been glorifying her a little bit too much because she was the best written character in the show, and competently so. But even then, I don't think she's that well written either. Like,
I think her sister story was pretty compelling, though.
Yeah,
it was, and it's what carried her. But outside of that story, when they weren't focusing on her search for Odo and everything like that, she was just as whatever as the rest of the cast was. And
so, man, there were some odd tendencies with her because she apparently also really liked high society stuff. Like she wanted to eat like at really expensive restaurants and like dress and like really like,
and I hated that side of her. Yeah, like when she was doing hard detective work and looking for her sister, she was a great character. But then when they put her into some like possibly like gold digging, like rich obsessed,
that reminded me of a movie.
That was very out of character.
Whenever we're doing a movie review, I distinctly remember texting Nathan saying, "Oh, look, we finally have one character of the 6 who has a decent whisk for the first part of the movie." And then at the end, she's like, "Oh, I also like money." And I'm like, darn it, Sumino, you had one job and you're doing so well until then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm conflicted, because she is two different characters depending on when you're talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes 3 if you want to talk about Kohaka being a different character altogether from all of that too.
Yeah.
You would probably say for that I'm gonna say low B, but honestly, just hearing what Patrick is saying out loud, and then and then you couple that with the inconsistencies with Gohaku. Originally, I wanted to say that she could probably make a case for being in the top 10 Sentai Blacks, but honestly, yeah, the more I think about it, yeah, she top 15, possibly. Definitely not top 10, and certainly not top 5.
Well, I think with her, she was never going to be in the top 10 for me.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she could have been, but the money part was throwing me off with her character. But it wasn't as big of a deal in the beginning. Like, she wasn't really big on the luxury part.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes back to bad storytelling, because when did all the luxury and the memeing of the hotels and all that come? That came like later. That came more in like episode 20 onward, is when we started seeing her more like hit on the, oh, I want a high life type thing. Mm-hmm. That's when she was not as focused on her sister. And that's a bad writing choice on their part.
Yeah.
Is that they didn't know what to do with her after this. They're like, okay, let's fall back on her being a high class detective. So let's give her some type of like, something else to focus on beyond her sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was one of those, when they were writing her focusing on finding her sister, and then when they weren't writing her with that storyline in mind, she's like two characters. Like, focusing on finding her sister, Sumino, is like a high B, low A character. But Sumino, when she's not looking for her sister, is like a D tier character.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I want to put her like smack dab in C, personally.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Although I'll give Sumino this. She's the first. It's kind of funny how I've previously said that with Sentai Black Rangers, you don't really have that many Sentai Black Rangers that are in between. Like, you either got ones that are red hot or ones that are ice cold. She's probably the first Sentai Black Ranger that I've seen where she is very definitively like in the lukewarm type of thing, where she's not red hot, she's not ice cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's still technically the best character, but yeah, she honestly, if you just took out all of those like high society type of things and tried to make her interests outside of finding her sister a little bit more believable, then maybe I would feel more comfortable putting her in high B. But yeah, she's in like the low B, high C type of category right there.
I would say C
Yeah.
as well, just for that reason alone.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go C, but I have to.
I didn't either, but you know, it's
Yeah.
Because C was a B tier up until like late 20s, early 30s before she got cut.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
but
the
just
cut
listen to
didn't
what
help.
Patrick had to say really shined a light on like how she is a flawed character.
And I've known
Mhm.
that all along that she did have that part of her that's like, you know, not as great.
Yeah.
I just wanted her to, you know, be better than that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I will kind of maybe, well, I don't want to say defend the writing that they gave her after they replaced the actress, because at that point her arc was already finished. They probably didn't have anything to do with her. So I wouldn't be surprised if the writing wouldn't have changed that much if they didn't change actresses. But they definitely like sillied her up maybe a little bit too much, but I don't know. We'll never
Yeah.
know. But it wouldn't have. I don't think it would have made that much of a difference.
So with that said, let's move on with just finally tearing everything up. What will we give the final tier ranking on Gozyuger?
It's an F tier.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitively say F tier at this point, just kind of because I don't know. Part of me wants to say D, but the more I think about it, this one is probably one of the big. This Sentai might actually, and I say this as someone who has seen every single Sentai, this might be the biggest single piece of wasted potential I've seen in Super Sentai, which is why maybe there's some that are technically worse, because I would say that those are just lost causes and they really didn't have any hope. This one, I can easily see this being good, but the fact that it's not good and it is bad really frustrates me. It's kind of like in the same way when we were talking about Maji Ranger, how Maji Ranger is really good. It's an A tier, but the fact that it's not an S tier when it so easily could be, you can't help but just get rubbed the wrong way from that. It's kind of like a much more extreme case here with Gozyuger, because I could see this easily being an amazing Final Sentai, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm going to start writing up ideas on how to rewrite this thing when we're done. Yeah, that honestly, yeah, and that's why I would probably say, from a selfish standpoint, this might be the worst Sentai, worse than Battle Fever, worse than Gozyuger, but just because it's so much wasted potential. I don't think I've seen more wasted potential before in any other Sentai. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen every Sentai all the way through. So that does carry a little bit of weight. I don't mean to sound arrogant there, but everybody knows what I'm talking about.
I still think that I dislike O Ranger and Zoo Ranger more.
That's understandable.
Because, like, I'd rather sort of watch something that annoys me than something that has nothing to talk about, which is weird coming from the guy that hates Overdrive more than like Zio and stuff, because Zio is probably the most boring and forgettable Power Ranger season we've ever gotten. But Overdrive's character writing is just so infuriating. I think Overdrive is still worse than this show in terms of character writing, because those characters are just written to be unlikable dickheads. This season, they're not unlikable because they're just poorly managed.
Yeah.
And it makes like O Ranger and Zoo Ranger just like borderline unwatchable garbage to me. But to kind of do like what Riz said, where he's like, we found somebody he hates more than John. We have entered, I think I like Dire Ranger more than this territory with me, and that's saying something.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Because
I never hear you say that.
I know I've said it many times, but I hate Die Ranger. I think how Nathan goes on about Deca Ranger, about being overrated, that's how I am with Die Ranger. That season is overrated doo-doo. And you've got me sitting here saying, I like Die Ranger better than this. That's saying something coming from me.
That's saying something.
like, good Lord. I was looking at my Sentai tier list. I was looking at my Sentai tier list rankings. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure if we ever review it again, you'd be like, oh, I now know I hate this again.
Oh, no. I can't wait for us to get to Die Ranger because I want to rip that season so much after having people tell me for years, oh, this is like a top 5 Sentai. I'm like, based off what?
Anthony, you want to add anything? And give your tier?
I said my piece already with how much I despise what they done with this season. I've already tried this. I shouldn't have defended it. I'm not gonna keep on saying that. Oh, they're like, I get it. I was wrong. I get it. I just don't want to keep hearing it again. Like,
repent for your sins.
I'll just end by saying, F tier, get this out of my face. This season doesn't exist. Boom Boomer's the last season of Sentai.
Yeah.
That's fair. Thank you, Cosmic Fury, for existing. I know a lot of people give you crap, but genuinely, I like Cosmic Fury. I like it more after watching this season.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that than this any day.
Genuinely, I'd rather have the finale of a franchise be coolio than hey, I beat everyone in the second ring battle. So my wish is I want to play the sausages.
Well, don't worry, Riz, because that wasn't the finale of Super Sentai. The final episode of Boom Boomdra was the final episode of Super Sentai, and that was a really good finale.
Oh, good. Thank you for reassuring me. That makes me feel a lot better about myself.
Right. I mean, they're literally fighting Space Michael Jackson. That's kind of epic.
Yeah. But with that said, guys, this brings us to at long last. We've really been trying to force ourselves to get through this, but we are done with Gozyuger outside of the Boom Boomdra crossover movie, which we'll be able to get through that. Hold our hand through that. Because all 6 of the Boom Boomdras were really good characters.
Dang right.
But with that said, we thank you guys for just bearing with us throughout this whole Gozyuger thing. Now, usually this is where we kind of start talking about what we're going to be taking a look at next. We've already started on Project RED, so we're going to continue covering that. But for the next couple of months, we're just going to kind of be playing catch up with some of the things. You know, Riz, Anthony, and I are going to be catching up. We're going to be doing the Zeo audio drama stuff. All of us need to get caught up with Kamen Rider Zest and get caught up with Project RED as well. So we're going to be playing a lot of catch up soon before we get back to and of course the main reason why we're playing catch up is also because we're desperately trying to put off taking a look at the OG Gavin series, because you guys know how we're not big fans of that. But we're gonna get through that as well.
Patrick loved it, right?
Oh yeah, Patrick absolutely loves it.
What?
But
Gavin Infinity?
The original Gavin series.
No, Gavin, the original.
Well, I don't like either one of them, if I'm being real with you, but that's just me.
Yeah. But with that said, we are, just to clarify though, much like Super Sentai is taking a break, we're going to be taking a break outside of watching some of the movies. We're taking a look at a Metal Hero series right now, but we're going to figure out what Kamen Rider series we kind of want to watch on the side next. We haven't decided on that yet, but we'll make that decision once we've caught up with everything. But the only thing that we can be sure of right here is that even though Super Sentai is now on hiatus and is no longer around, we are still here. We're going to be bringing you more Kamen Rider and Metal Hero stuff, and we will eventually return to Super Sentai once we feel the time is right. But the point is, we're still here for you guys, and we got a lot of really good stuff playing for you guys, which will be good for our mental health as well. And we hope you guys will join us for all of that. And until then, everybody stay safe. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.